me a 3. Oh, I clicked it.
We're going to do a countdown from 3. Oh, I already started. Sorry. Good morning, everyone. This is Facts
and Flannels. Just two man friends wearing flannels.
And talking about weird and wild facts. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Doug. Let's get going. So, you've worked, obviously, for people that you hated. I'm
Sure.
guessing, right? You're glad you worked with. Have you ever murdered anyone that you've worked with?
I have not.
How about worked with?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, I was gonna say I hope not, because that would make this a really awkward conversation. But let's talk about a guy. There is a man who worked with a group of 19 people, and they were very isolated in this. But he decided that with his isolation, he would get bored and got drunk a lot. And so one time, his boss decided no more, and took his alcohol away. And by taking his alcohol away, he stashed it in his room, locked it, said, we're done with it. This guy's an alcoholic. We can't have this anymore on our job. So let's give them some names. Let's say, what do we want to call this one guy? We'll call him Drunky. We'll call him Drunky. Found out that he did this and then barged into his boss's residence to take back his alcohol. Sounds like the first really weird, I don't know how this would happen, but yeah, this actually happened. The Drunky then took the alcohol back and decided, you know what? I don't want to be alone in this, and got drunk with his friend. So Drunky and Pal are drinking, having some drinks, and all that. Boss finds them, comes back in and says, this is not acceptable, and tries to forcefully take back the alcohol because he's like, I need you to sober up and be better. Drunky and Boss get into a fight, start hitting each other. Pal reaches for a gun, Boss reaches for a gun. Drunky and Boss are fighting with a gun. The gun fires and kills Pal. Pal is now dead, and Drunky and Boss are trying to figure out what to do with this. Now, this story would sound unrealistic, but this actually happened, and the problem came arise with they couldn't prosecute Drunky for the gun firing because this happened to a bunch of scientists on an ice floe in the Antarctic Circle.
What?
So they were on a exploratory scientific mission in the Antarctic Circle on an ice floe, not on any part of the actual land. On just a chunk of ice.
I mean, there's no government or anything in Antarctica. No one owns Antarctica. It's kind of just like a global.
No government owns it. You're not on a ship that any government can be part of. Nobody can do anything about this. This American scientist was going to be getting away, not scot-free. I mean, he's really got some guilt on his conscience, killing his friend. But I mean, he's also a drunk, so we have to put
wow.
Now, that's not where that story ends. So eventually America devised a plan hey, we can't extradite him back here, but we need to prosecute this guy for doing this. So I want you to just surmise, you're the American government. I don't know, I can find out when this happened, but this is not current times. How do you get Drunky back to this country as a way of being cool, you're back in the country, now we can arrest you for possible murder?
How? I probably wouldn't. I would just give him to Russia.
Fair point.
Just make it Russia's problem.
They basically did it by saying, hey, we want to talk to you for a second. Can you come back to the States for a little bit? And they just called him back hey, we just want to have a conversation with you, but we just need you to come off your ice floe.
And he was sure.
Yeah, and so he did. And as immediately upon getting back to the States, they immediately arrested him, put him on trial for the manslaughter of his friend. That's not where the story ends. They went to the whole trial, and eventually Drunky was acquitted. He was found not guilty of manslaughter of his friend. Because what they discovered and what the prosecution was able to prove is that the gun manufacturer had made it a faulty gun and the trigger wasn't supposed to go off, and so the trigger accidentally went off and killed his friend. So the gun company was at fault not Drunky or Boss. The gun company was at fault because the gun malfunctioned. So he walked away free.
Did the gun malfunction?
That's what the prosecution proved, apparently. I don't know. But that's, and so a scientist,
Good lawyers.
an American scientist, once walked away from a murder trial.
You know, I guess if you're like isolated for however many months and you're like with the same people, just like, and there's literally no one else,
yeah.
I suppose it could lead someone to be a drunk, especially if you don't get along with someone, you know, like life's probably pretty miserable.
And the thing
it's like being stuck on the International Space Station with someone you don't get along with.
Really? Because you can't walk away. Like, you're like, I'm going to go walk over here.
You got nowhere to go.
You got nowhere to go. You're on ice floe. You're literally floating in the ocean on ice. Also, you're probably miserably cold.
Yeah. And alcohol warms you up.
Yeah.
Now, I had a homeless person tell me once that that's what the alcohol is really for. It's not because they just want to get drunk. It's because those cold nights, it's really the only thing that warms. A good bottle of Fireball keeps the body warm.
That's true. No bad sentence ever ended that started with the sentence, a homeless guy told me one time. No bad sentence could ever come from that.
I wish I had a bad one. I don't personally.
You really can't. Like, I will say this, and I say this. No, if you're homeless, you're not watching this. But if you are homeless,
maybe.
Do something to get my money. Don't just sit there and go, give me money. Entertain me. Give me something to go off of other than me just thinking like, oh, you just want my money. Like, if you can just like tell me a sob story, that works too. You got to do something for it. I want something.
Yeah.
Little dance.
You know what's really interesting, and we're getting so off topic, but that's perfectly fine. Where I went to college, there was always just like it was almost like you could write out a schedule of the quote unquote homeless people that would stand out by like the highway exits and the intersections and things with signs and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Because you'd see like the same people on like Tuesdays and Wednesdays and whatever, and they were like, one would be at the exit over there, but then on Fridays he's over at the intersection down the road. So it was like an operation. You know what I mean? It wasn't like just a bunch of random people. No, they had like coordinated this, right? Well, for years going to college, I had seen people giving money to them, whatever. Around the time I was getting ready to graduate, the police department did an operation, like a sting operation, and arrested all of them. And what turns out is they weren't homeless, or maybe they were homeless technically, but they were using the money to buy and distribute like heroin and cocaine, like all the hard drugs, like everything. They were making $40 an hour. 40, that's how much money they were making. Each person around the college campus was making $40 an hour.
I've never made that in any job.
I've given change. So, because like I get it, like people are in a really tough spot. I don't know you, and like I've given food. I've gone to the grocery store. I've bought bags of food, and I've given those to homeless people that have signs like anything for food, or like, you know, I'll do anything for food. I get it, you know. So I brought food and things like that. I'm not going to give you I don't have a bunch of money. I'm not going to give you my money so you can buy drugs. I don't know. It's totally stereotyping, and I understand that, but like,
no, I completely understand.
You just don't know. I don't know what they're using the money for. Like, you know, I don't know.
$40 an hour?
$40 an hour is crazy. Crazy money.
Wrong gig.
Yeah, seriously. Around a college campus, like who the hell has money? It was also
And
next
you're
to a
college
hospital,
kids.
so yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it's nuts.
So amazing that they were able to set up a racket to start selling just drugs. Like they were all able to coordinate. Like, hey guys, we put all our money
Oh yeah,
together.
it was a total operation. Yeah, they were all doing it together, collecting money and selling and distributing and all kinds of crazy stuff. Yeah, it was nuts.
That's
Anyway,
impressive.
yeah. Well, we got way off topic, but I guess that's a fun fact too.
It was a kind of fun little thing. Yeah.
Whatever. All right, so we're done here for today. That'll be a good starting point. I hope people watch our videos. If you
Yep.
do, we are Facts and Flannels. Just
If
two
you've got
man.
anything that you know we said wrong, please do comment because I do.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of information everywhere, and you can try to do research on the source of your information, but you just never know what you read. So we're just telling you the things that we've done research on and some cool facts, some weird and wild stuff. If you're
As it
an
becomes
expert,
fall, we'll be wearing more flannels.
yeah, and if you're an expert in any of these topics, please give us more information. We would love to hear them.
Yeah, we would. Thank you, everybody, and we really appreciate everything.
See you next time, Doug.
See you next time, Ryan.